The mid-2000s were a crossroads for gaming. Consoles were no longer just boxes connected to a TV. They were stages, arenas, social hubs, and at the center of that revolution, the Xbox 360. It launched in 2005, and for millions of players, it felt like a glimpse of the future. The graphics were sharper, the online capabilities were unprecedented, and the games, well, the games dared to dream bigger than ever before. It wasn't perfect. The infamous Red Ring of Death haunted the living rooms. Launch day shortages forced early adopters to wait months. Updates took forever, but even with its flaws, the Xbox 360 gave us something more powerful than hardware. It gave us moments. Moments that shaped a generation of gamers and changed the industry forever. Before the Xbox 360, online console gaming was niche. Dial-up connections, clunky interfaces, and limited matchmaking made multiplayer feel optional. Then came Xbox Live, fast, polished, and accessible. Halo 3, Gears of War, Call of Duty 2, suddenly you weren't just playing a game, you're stepping into a living, breathing arena. Matchmaking paired you with strangers who could become friends, rivals, or legends. Voice chat allowed real-time coordination, banter, and sometimes pure chaos. The 360 didn't just offer multiplayer, it created a culture. Achievements weren't just digital trophies, they were conversation starters, bragging rights, and obsession points. Friends would compete over leaderboards, argue over stats, and push each other to new heights. Xbox Live made the world a little smaller and our gaming moments a lot bigger. The Xbox 360 era wasn't just about online play. It pushed the boundaries of what games could be. Developers had more processing power, more storage, more control, and they ran with it. BioShock dropped players into Rapture, an underwater city that was more alive than most real cities and games at the time. Every door, every poster, every flickering light told a story. You weren't just progressing through a shooter, you were exploring a living narrative. Gears of War refined the cover mechanics, transforming third-person shooters forever. Its cinematic action wasn't just flashy, it demanded strategy and teamwork. Meanwhile, Forza Motorsport offered a simulation-level driving precision on a console for the first time, letting players feel the weight, friction, and speed of every car. And this was only the beginning. The era saw ambitious RPGs, sprawling open worlds, and experimental titles that challenged traditional gameplay. Games weren't safe, they were bold. They dared to innovate because the Xbox 360 made that ambition possible. The Xbox 360 era shaped not just games, but how we interacted with them. Achievements became badges of identity, gamers obsessively tracked completion rates, forums exploded with strategies and rivalries, friends challenged each other to perfect matches and outrageous feats. It was the first console generation where your online identity mattered almost as much as your in-game skills. The avatar editor turned that identity into something visual, a digital version of you. Players spent hours perfecting their avatars, tweaking hairstyles, baking outfits, adding personality. It wasn't about realism, it was about expression. For the first time, your profile didn't just show stats, it showed character. That little cartoon version of yourself became part of the experience, standing next to your friends on the dashboard, celebrating achievements and reminding you that behind every gamer tag there was a person. Of course, none of this would have mattered without the games themselves. Halo 3 defined online shooters. Gears of War gave cover-based combat a pulse. Forza made racing feel alive. Fable, Mass Effect, and Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion pushed narrative and player choice to new heights. Even less mainstream titles left marks. Shadow Complex, Viva Pinata, and Perfect Dark Zero experimented with mechanics and art style and tone. The Xbox 360 era wasn't about one game dominating the conversation. It was about an entire ecosystem pushing forward, challenging developers and players alike. And 20 years later, that era's DNA is everywhere. Achievements, matchmaking, cinematic shooters, online communities, and ambitious storytelling. The lessons, risks, and boldness of the Xbox 360 generation still resonate today. The Xbox 360 era wasn't just a console generation, it was a turning point for gaming, for communities, and for the way we experience virtual worlds. It reminded us that games can be ambitious, social, and unforgettable. If you ever spent hours in a Halo lobby, raced through Forza tracks, or lost yourself in rapturous depths, you know exactly what I mean. So take a moment to revisit those games, share your stories, and celebrate the era that shaped so much of what we play today. And if you want more retrospectives like this, deep dives into the games that define the generations, hit subscribe, drop a like, and ring that notification bell. Let's keep exploring the worlds that changed gaming together. Thanks for watching, and as usual, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.